Hello everybody and welcome to the Celtic Unrestricted View podcast. My name is Ryan Clifford and it's the reaction podcast versus Bodo Glimt. Should I say Bodo Glimt? I know it's part of my water there, but what I started the podcast that was it. But as I says, myself Ryan Clifford and Sam join me in this episode. It's a reaction podcast. Well, it's the first time in a wee while, obviously, Sam. It's been a negative podcast to be fair, mate. Obviously, there's a lot of reaction from fans last night regarding regarding the defeat. Is it an overreaction? Is it maybe an underreaction with some fans? And for me, Sam, I'll get your opinion on the match because let's be fair, social media blew up last night, obviously regarding Rangers' victory, and then we've obviously had a defeat. So, what's your kind of opinions? Obviously, reflect on it, mate, and have you gathered your thoughts on what you felt about the game last night?
Well, it's one of the ones. It's, as you say, it's been a while since we've had a podcast coming off the back of a negative game, whether it be Europe or the league, etc. I don't see any positives that people can make for last night, to be brutally honest. I just think everywhere, in my opinion, we lacked last night. I can accept. I've always said that I can accept when Celtic get beat, and I know they're not going to win every game as much as obviously you and me and obviously every other fan would love. But I can accept when we lose if we play well and we give a good account of ourselves. Mm-hmm. But in the manner in which we lost last night, that's what infuriates me the most. Like I said, I can accept getting beat. I can accept it. Like I said, if we give a good account of ourselves and like the Leverkusen game at 3-2, there was aspects of it, but we gave a very good account of ourselves. For example, that's just obviously an example. Mm-hmm. But as I said, last night was just, I don't want to say unacceptable, but it was very, very poor, in my opinion.
Aye, mate, I think poor would probably cut it. I know, obviously, the away goal rule is discontinued, which I would say is benefited us in this scenario because going away to Bodo 3-1, it's a tough ask considering how the game went. For me, I think some fans are obviously saying it's an overreaction to the match. For me, I don't focus on what's happened in the past, i.e. Rangers games or the last minute winners we've had this season. I only focus on what I've watched last night in the game last night. And for me, I'm borderline. I don't want to say it was embarrassing, right? Because I think that's too critical. But I don't think it's good enough, Sam. For me personally, obviously we had 2 podcasts about kind of reviewing the game with John and David. Mm-hmm. We've done our research on them before, and I did say when the draw was made, this is a very hard game. It's a very tricky game. They're a very, very good team. They play similar to us. They're very well drilled. Yes, at the time they didn't have 2 or 3 star players, which they then sold. But again, they've recruited well. They've brought in some very good players who I thought, for the value that they brought them for, I would say it's decent value. But I wouldn't say I was worried. I just knew I was concerned that they might cause us some issues. And quite frankly, I think everything we've said about them on the podcast, what we've heard, and what I've said personally, it was true. We all knew how Bodo would play. I'm like to think Ange would have knew how they would play, and we didn't combat it. I find that I did say it would be the first team that we would play that would maybe mirror the way we want to play, and it'd be interesting to see how we would combat it and basically try and beat it. Going through the match again, I just think I don't want to talk about what we've done this year when it comes to obviously the Rangers games and whatever else we've done well in, and he's brought in some amazing players. The rebuild's been good, but as I said, for me personally, after the January window, it's Ange's team. He can get allowances here and there through the season because of where we came from, but now we're top of the league, so I'd say if we're going to lose the league now, I'm not going to give him a lunch because once you're on top, you need to stay on top and be consistent and be the champions. We've went through the Champions League qualifiers. We've failed to get in the group stages. We've got to Europa League group stages, granted, some good performances and some good results, but the be all and end all is we didn't qualify for the group. We've moved into the Conference League, and Bodo have came to the Conference League, so it's not like we're playing a team that start out the Europa League.
Mm-hmm.
We're playing a team who we know is well organised, but at Celtic Park, we should be doing better. If we want to be, which Mr. Lawwell has been saying for years, we're a Champions League club, I'm going to go against Mr. Lawwell and say we are nowhere near a Champions League club. They might have the Champions League infrastructure when it comes to the fans, the club, the history, everything that comes with being in a big competition. But on the field, and maybe financially, we're okay, but when it comes to these big teams, we've not got the money to compete with some of these big teams. But, as I said in the group chat last night, finances should manage to a certain degree, but Bodo Glimt have probably got nowhere near Celtic's budget. They've got nowhere near other teams' budget that's in the Champions League.
I've seen they've got similar to, or exactly the mirroring Motherwell's budget, so that puts it in comparison.
I'm not too sure that it's that budget they've got right, but I know for a fact that it's nowhere near Celtic's budget because they don't spend big money in players. They all, like William, who we've got in the podcast, he knows a bit about that, and he also says they don't spend big money in players. They recruit well, similar to us, and they sell well, but we do spend a bit of money. We've spent about £16 million in players, i.e. we all know it's been a rebuild and we've had to do it. But some fans need to be realistic here, right? We understand that last night was poor, and we'll also go through it, and if any fans are also watching the live feed, they can let us know their comments, but some fans they've got to stop killing themselves on that we're a big European team. We're a big name in European football when it comes to Celtic and the history, and we've won the Champions League years ago, and I understand that. But we're nowhere near some of these big teams. See if we get PSG, Barcelona, like we've seen in the past, we get absolutely scalped. We're nowhere near that level yet. Yes, it's all well and good and proper, but in there and getting the financial benefits there. The fans love going to see these teams, and it's amazing European nights, and it's amazing to get to that stage. But you want to try and compete. I hope Ange's a man, if we win the league this year, into the group stages where we go. I hope Ange can take us there. But going on last night, I think we've got to adapt the way we play in some of the European games. But I just feel, Sam, that sometimes, I know I understand there might be an overreaction, but I think on last night's showing, we're still miles away. Yes, we can still qualify. We're going to Bodo and winning. I understand that. I'm not going to say we're not going to win because we've still got a good chance of qualifying if you tactically do well and you start well, get an early goal, and it puts you right up. But for me, Sam, at the moment, I know we're under a rebuild currently. I still think it shows us up for a wee bit of reality check that we're doing well so far in the league, but I think European-wise, we need to take a bit of reality check and say we still need to look at what we need to do better.
Aye, and I totally agree with that, but I think, I don't know if obviously yourself or MD listening would agree. I was thinking about it a lot, obviously, the day when, I had obviously had to work, so I couldn't reply as much as I'd want when you were all talking in the chat. And I thought about it. Me personally, this isn't just based on last night. Well, obviously it is partially, but what I mean is it's not entirely based off it last night. Mm-hmm. It's a thing that's built over the years. Obviously, as you've just pointed out in the points that you've made, Celtic are not. I would go as far as to say they're not even a European club. Personally, and that might be overreacting, right? I get that, but when was, and I said before we started, when was the last time we qualified for the group stages of the Champions League?
It was 17-18, wasn't it?
Aye, so it's 4.5, 5 years away. We're still in Europe, but obviously, again, us and every other fan would want, you want to be in the Premier competition. Mm-hmm. And we've been honking in Europe for years. Honking. We've had the likes of Lazio, obviously the nights against Lazio home and away and stuff like that, but we're nowhere near it. And I think I watched a couple of videos today, and I think the other thing as well, it comes down to money. Obviously, as you say, it plays a part. Of course it does. Excuse me, but I think as well, effort overvalues money. And I think what happened last night, in my opinion anyway, Bodo wanted it more. They did. They wanted it more. And obviously, as you said as well, they were obviously very well set up, and they're just drilled. And obviously, I can never pronounce the guy's name, but obviously everybody knows now who the Bodo manager is. But that's what he's drilled into them, and it's no wonder the likes of I don't want to call Aberdeen a big club, but obviously the teams in Scotland and I think there was one or two bigger teams in Europe looking at him. I think Aston Villa maybe been looking at him as well. I could be wrong in that, but it's just last night was nowhere near good enough, nowhere near it. And these people that, because I've seen it, obviously, I'm sure you've seen it as well. These people that go, "Oh, who were Bodo?" Well, nobody had heard of them before last night. And this whole thing as well, where they've not played a competitive game since the start of the end of last year. Sorry, to me doesn't matter. I get obviously fitness wise fine, but I don't know about yourself, Ryan. But to me last night, you would have thought it was Celtic who was in the pre-season.
I thought Bodo looked fit on me, and we've seen this year. We've been fit this year in certain aspects of games. I thought Bodo. I'm being honest, mate. I just thought we were outplayed tactically, mentally, physically, in every department. We were beat last night. I thought the first 10 minutes of the game, you could sense it wasn't going to be an easy game, because I just thought, for me, I'll start off with obviously the lineup. For me, O'Reilly and Rogic are too similar. I don't want to play in the midfield together. Maybe one up and one back. But that's not their game. They need to play to going forward. I think Hatate should have played. I don't know why he didn't play. I don't know if that's because maybe fitness-wise, I don't know. But for me, Hatate's got to play. McGregor, again, he's got to play. And I think maybe O'Reilly or Rogic, I think they two can't play in the same team. I think that's evident. It's the same last year. I think it was it Rogic and Turnbull. I think people were saying can't play in the same team. Things need to change when it comes to European football. Obviously, for me, we'll start obviously with the first goal, or the goals. I know people who listen to the podcast and people in the in the group chat. I obviously know I don't like Greg Taylor. I've always said Greg Taylor is not a Celtic left back. He might be doing well in some games this year, but he's not a Celtic left back. He's not going to take us forward, i.e. European level. And I think last night showed that again. I've been getting some stick off my own pals, off Twitter, saying you're too harsh on Greg Taylor. I'm going to lie. I want an apology, because Greg Taylor is not good enough for Celtic. He's never going to be good enough for Celtic. He was shown up last night off Bodo, right? And that's no offence to Bodo Glimt, because they're a very, very good team. But which Barcelona, which PSG, which Man U's going to do? And if you get to these big stages, we need a better left back. And I've been saying all season, we need a left back. Scales might be good maybe in 2 or 3 years' time. But you can't expect to sign a guy for the League of Ireland, a guy for Kilmarnock, and expect to go and do things in European football. You've got to sign these guys wisely. And for me, I don't think Greg Taylor was. I believe it's a signing because you've seen him play in Scotland. He's done okay for a decent team in Kilmarnock. He's got them to where they are. Fuck it, we'll sign him, and it'll please the fans because we've got a left back. We spent about £6 million, Sam, in Bolingoli and Taylor, and none of them are good enough in my opinion. And I'm more saying this isn't a Ralston situation. Greg Taylor's just not going to come here next year and be fucking Roberto Carlos. It's not going to happen. If it does happen, I'll generally say, I'll hold my hands up. I'm sorry, Greg Taylor will be Celtic's left back.
You've just jinxed that it's going to happen.
But he should have got a new deal, in my opinion. Again, I'm not going to criticise anybody in particular as players, because they're professionals and I know they try the hardest and that's their job. But as a fan, you've got to comment on the game. And for me last night, for the first goal especially, and maybe even the second goal, I thought Taylor was at fault. Out of position, and that caused the goals. I.e., you're still got to go and defend, even though it's past him. But I thought for the 2 goals, positional sense, I thought they caught out, and it's going to cost us against the bigger teams. It cost us last night, and it's going to cost us in even bigger teams if we do qualify for the Champions League.
Aye, no, definitely, and I've agreed. Obviously, I've said it myself, and obviously when I started in the podcast, obviously with you, I agreed with you. Greg Taylor is not a Celtic left back. When I've spoke to mates of mine and they've asked, like, whenever it's come up, like, who do you think isn't suited to that the team? I instantly say Greg Taylor, and I don't know why they're took by surprise, because they go, really? And I'm like, aye, because he's never ever Celtic quality. And obviously the point you made that we've spent £6.5 million on 2 left backs and none of them have cut it. It's just laughable, like the whole left back thing, because obviously people make it's a big talking point between, like, obviously like us and obviously people that come on and do the podcast, like that are on the night, and just Celtic fans in general. But Greg Taylor is not a Celtic left back, and it's so annoying, because obviously we're no as experted as Ange, right? I get that, but it's so evident to see. It's so evident, and I get it can play system and that fine, but there's a difference between talent. I'm not sure talent maybe a strong, like he's no talented. That's maybe a wee bit strong, but he's just no fitted to play for the Celtic, the stature. And as you say, he obviously tries his heart out, and you can see that. I'll give him that. That's fine, but effort and like determination only gets you so far. And as you say, he get found out after Bodo, and obviously, as you said, no disrespect to Bodo, because they're a really good side. But playing the likes of PSG, Barcelona, Man City, Man United, etc., he'll get found out even more. It's just the be all and end all.
As you say, that's a level we're trying to get to. Right? I understand we can't go and buy your Cancelos and etc. But Man City, I understand that, and you've got to try and nurture talent or pick out talent. Their left back last night, I'm not going to say his name because I can't say it.
I know how you win, bang, go no.
That's it. He's actually a right back, right, and he's playing left back. He's superb, right? He was a free transfer, right, and on the podcast at the start of the podcast, me and Robert have always said, and William as well, the Scandinavian market is a massive market. We can get guys for snippets, guys for free, guys for like £1 million and whatever else. If you do your scouting properly, you can get these guys who are superb. And Bodo got for me an eye opener in who you can get for decent money, cheap money, but I think Bodo Glimt is they've got a good manager, but similar to the way we are in the league, I would say we're well drilled, and Ange's got us well drilled and playing a philosophy, but for European level, like I've said to you, I've said to boys in the chat, good players and good managers adapt. Good players adapt.
And I've said it for months. Sorry to interrupt you, but that's the one criticism I've had of Ange.
It seems to me, I know we beat St Johnstone and we played defensive in a way because they obviously had players out, basically they were a full squad out, and we won the game 3-1. I understand that, we've done well. But I'm not talking about these games, I'm talking about last night. And I did say it before the game, it would be for us to go and play against a team that plays similar to us. It'll be interesting to see how we combat and how we play against it. I think he had. I don't know why he went for attack last night, because you knew that was the way they were going to play. It's frustrating for I think us as fans and me personally, because I've obviously done a bit of research about them, some podcasts about them. You knew how they were going to play. It was no surprise to maybe some fans who have not really seen them play, and maybe a surprise of how they played. But last night was not a surprise to me. Some fans are saying, "Oh, i.e. Rangers fans or other teams in Scotland they've been get a badge on Google and they're this and that." And people need to actually do research about teams in football because they're a very, very good team. They've done well last year in the league. They've done well in Europe. So to say that they're a diddy team or they're not a good team or they're this and that, they're a very, very decent team. And last night, they beat us in every single department. I know we weren't clinical, right? I understand that. But I'm being honest, Sam, did we really have a lot of chances last night to actually say, oh, I don't mind getting beat, right? I don't mind getting beat if you've had like 25 in corners, 50 shots in goal, and you've gave everything and the goal saved everything, and you go, do you know what, we could beat with a better team, I'm lucky. But see, when you just, for me, we had no chances last night, really, apart from the Maeda chance. I can't remember 2 or 3 chances you thought, oh, do you know what, that was really unlucky last night, what a save that was. I don't think we were really in the game. I know we had like 10 or 11 corners and whatever else, but the only stat I'm interested in is the goals. I understand, I'm a big stat person, right? I love the fact that we have a lot of corners and we have a lot of transition play and etc. when it comes to attacking. But see, if I've won the game, this stats been absolute fucking jack shit. See, you can have 10 corners and whatever, but see if you've not got the goals to combat it, then you don't win the game. It's simple as that. Again, that could be a Michael Owen fucking quote, right? But I don't care. That's just the way football is. You can attack, and have all the corners and all the shies and all the efforts and goal. But if you've not scored the goal, then it means fuck all. I just think that I'm not disappointed in a way because I'm kind of expecting it now with Celtic Europe. I'm not surprised when we can see the early goals or it's a typical performance at Celtic Park. Recently, we've not been. I'm going to say it's not been a fortress recently.
No.
I just think we need to be better at home. See if that was away from home. I don't think I'm nobody's too critical because away from home, I know it's going to be harder there. By the way, next week's going to be hard. It's going to be like -5 or -10. It's going to be Baltic, and that's a tough part. It's going to be even tougher than it would have been before going there without a defeat behind us. But I think it's just disappointing, Sam. And I think the first two goals for me was it's just frustrating because we've defended most of the season well, but then for me when you come against a team that's very well drilled, and I just thought we looked out our shots last night. I don't know if that's because Bodo done that to us or we just had a complete off night, but I just thought we just looked very out of position, especially defensively last night when they came to attack us, and I don't think they've done anything spectacular. They just were well drilled, and I need to give them a bit of credit, but to be fair, the first 2 goals were phenomenal play. I know Greg Taylor was caught in position and we didn't defend it very well, but the transition of play and the way they moved the ball and the way they actually broke us down, I thought was really superb.
Aye, I know there's obviously a difference between domestic football to European football. Obviously, clearly there is, but it's the first time we've been cut open this season. It's the first time.
I would say apart from the Leverkusen game, I would say it's the first time I would say we've been completely cut out without us even being able to get anything.
I'd say the cut is open more than Leverkusen, personally, because for the first goal, I'm not taking it anyway because, as you say, the ball was. They obviously we all knew, or Celtic fans knew anyway, that they were going to play similar to us, but it was the way, it's how quick the ball zipped around, and it's as if we just. It's hard to explain, but it's as if we didn't know because we've never played against it. Obviously, and as you say, that sounds like a pure Michael Owen comment, but it's as if we just went, "Well, what the fuck is this?" And obviously, the ball gets zipped out to that left back. I can't pronounce his name either, so we'll just say that left back, and then it's obviously played in within 2 passes, and then obviously they're through and goal. But obviously, the left-hand side, Starfelt gets caught ball watching for that goal. He gets caught ball watching. That boy that scored, I don't know his name, but the boy that scored obviously gets right in the pass through, and obviously it's 1-0. It's just such. Again, I'm not taking any away for the play to get to that, right? It's obviously, as you said, it's absolutely superb, but it's just the basics. It's the basics. You know yourself, just don't ball watch, because the minute you ball watch, you're fucked.
I just think, I don't know why as well, some fans might be surprised that we've been beat. It's not a surprise to me because like you say, we've had some decent results in Europe, like Lazio and going away to Leyland draw and beating Lille at home and even against like Man City we drew 3 each, etc. We've had decent games, but consistently in Europe we've not done very well.
No.
We've not qualified for Champions League. I know for us to spend a lot of money, or for us to get there, we might need to spend a bit of money or day. I don't know when today, but it's a lot better needed than it has been at the moment. I understand Ange's just come in, and it might be his first when it comes to Champions League level and whatever else, or to qualify for the competitions. But I just think that I understand the way he wants to play, Sam. It's just attacking football, and it's quite. Listen, as a fan, it's entertaining and it's good to watch. And I understand we might get a game like last night, early season, it might happen, but if it continually happens, we can't break these teams down. Eventually, we need to adapt. He's got to adapt somehow. If it means putting an extra defender in or putting an extra midfielder in, I don't know what he's got to do because I'm not a manager. But it's just disappointing that it's disappointing because we've come out for the Champions League and Europa League and then the conference. But yet, I don't know why I can't for the life of me think why fans think that's acceptable. I understand it's Angie's team, it's a brand new team and we've spent money, it's a new squad and whatever else. But I'm kind of past the rebuild stage now. I'm being honest, I'm past the rebuild stage now. It's fucking February. It's no November, it's February. He's had 2 transfer windows. He's got his team. They've roughly got the ideas of what he wants to do. But I've always said next year will be, I would say, the full Ansball, or that's when you totally judge him. But last night it was just poor. I think that's the word I can say. I think we've not won a knockout round since 2004. For me, I know people want to talk about Rangers, but Rangers have done they've done it a few times more than that. And let's be fair, they went down to the fucking third division. So something tells you that there's something we've got to do better. One knockout round win since 2004 for a team like Celtic, in my opinion, is not good enough. People can say that I've had good results, and good results. Again, this is just my opinion. I'm no a fucking expert in football, but from what I've seen for Celtic, I'm a Celtic fan, and I think every game we're going to win because that's what you want for your team. But I'm not surprised last night, Sam, because I've watched Bodo quite a bit now since the draw. I've looked at the stats and I've looked at everything about them. And obviously we've had David come on, and we've had John, the fan crew, come on and told us a bit about them. And it's very hard. It's frustrating for me, Sam. It's just frustrating. I think it's frustrating that because how good we know how good some of these players are. But last night, I don't want to say that they get made to look average, but they get made to look the players that we know that they're no. I thought Bodo, simply Sam, I thought they played as Arthur. No, I don't want to say they played as Arthur Park, but in every department they beat us. So it's no good looking. You might have 10 corners and all these transition plays, but we could beat 3-1 in the day. So you've got to look at, and I know we could win next week, by the way. If we win 3-0 next week or 4-0 and qualify, and then we can all talk about a positive podcast, brilliant. But you've got to. I'm only focusing on the game last night, and the game last night, in every department, even before we scored a goal, was, for me, it was frustrating and it was very, very flat.
And I agree. I think we had a bright 5 minutes, and then for there they played, as you say, they played us and beat us in every other department because we were moving the ball well and obviously getting it up into their final third. And you're thinking, well, I thought anyway, personally, I thought I'm not saying it would have been easy, obviously, of course it wouldn't, but we're getting after that flying start that we've obviously had the past couple of weeks. And then obviously they scored the goal, and then for there it's just downhill. And we just, it's the first time this season that because I say that I spoke to my missus about it, and she's like, maybe they'll score. And I says, no, they'll not score. They will not score. I was even surprised when Maeda scored. Don't be wrong, great goal, great header, not taking anything away from it, but it surprised me because I think personally you could have put 120 minutes on that clock last night and we wouldn't have scored. Personally, because it's just everything was so flat. It was like, I'm trying to get the words to use. It was so like sluggish, and there was just no like impetus and like desire. There was just none of it. And as I said earlier, obviously we've spent X amount of £1 million in these 2 windies to bring in these players. Obviously it was needed, but effort over value money. And as I said, Bodo wanted it more. That at the end of it says and thinks differently is out of their mind, to be brutally honest, because it was evident to see.
I can give you a certain game, mate. I think obviously there was effort and desire to win the game, but I just think Bodo did have that more in his last night. Again, I do believe it was an off night in every department. We were just, I don't want to say it was a typical Celtic performance in Europe, but it was a typical shite performance that we've had in Europe.
It mirrored Copenhagen for me.
I could probably say that, mate, when it comes to
it was just because I know some people disagreed with me in the chat, that it was the manner in which we lost the goal. And then obviously with Maeda scoring, and it was like Edward scoring that penalty. And obviously you're thinking, right, we're back in it, and then obviously goes and scores like 30 seconds to a minute later.
I think as well, I know you're always vulnerable when you can see the goal.
Of course.
But as soon as you can see it, I know it was a deflected effort, and I understand that. So I don't want to be too critical of the goal, but as soon as you score, the place is buzzing. You've got a bit of pressure. Sorry for butting there. You've got a bit of pressure on them, and then we're flat again. I still think we might win the game. I think it's going to be very hard to qualify. I've got every faith in the team we can still qualify.
Of course, aye.
I think the third goal it's made it really hard for us. Going earlier with 2-1, obviously we put the away rule, the away goal rule. If you score the first goal, you're basically level again. So it takes you basically into a place where you can regroup and kick on. It's going to be tough for me. And obviously the third goal, again, I thought it was a brilliant goal. Again, some fans might say I'm maybe too overcritical, or I've been maybe too early judgmental. I'm not wanting to judge Maeda fully yet, because he's still coming into the squad and play every week, and he's only been a few weeks. He's got signs of being a very, very good player for us. I still think he's got to give more. I know he scored like 4 and 6 or something. He scored decent. I understand that, and he's a warrior, and he does a lot of running off the field, off the ball. But I think he's got to give more. I did think Jackie Marcus would have played last night personally. I don't think Jackie Marcus has really done much wrong. Might have not scored every game, but his effort's been there. He's been winning his socks off the ball. He's a wee bit of quality. I think he's been in a run of games. Even if he throws, I thought he played well. I thought he would have played last night. And even as well, when we were 2-0 down before Maeda scored. And I think he took Abada and Jota off on it. Abada off. He took Jackie Marcus off, and put Jackie Marcus come on.
Do you want to spit that out?
No, mix up there. He put Jackie Marcus on, mate. He took Abada off, and he put Maeda on it, left mid. Or was it Jota? No, it was Jota who took off on it.
No, he kept Jota on. I think when he brought him on, he moved Maeda out to the left and Jota out to the right.
Up here. I was Abada, right? He took Abada off, and he's put Jackie Marcus on. Why not put Maeda up front and just play 2 up front? You know what I mean? And play, why?
But then he brought Forrest on and done it anyway.
Maeda, for me, similar to Kyogo, I wasn't pure maxed up there, sorry. He put Kyogo out left sometimes, right? And for me, Kyogo can't play out left. He's a striker. You're getting more. He can play out left, but
he's just not as effective.
He's not as effective. Same as for me, Maeda, when you play Maeda out left, he's not as effective as he is up front. I think we've got to get a system where every player is got the, how do I say it? Every player is high optimum performance in every single position. So if that means that you need to cut out a player to play a player in a position where he's better at, then I think we need to do it. And I think sometimes he's got to change for us 4-3-3 to combat certain teams, i.e. even against teams like Livingston and St Mirren. Just go 4-4-2 and play Jackie Marcus and Maeda as Kyle and do something different. Because for me, I think we're going to be similar to Rodgers' team. In the first year, teams didn't know what to do with But the second year, they all know what the day is because we didn't change our play. And teams that used to play against St Clair, and eventually St Clair's second season and a half, they kind of sussed them out and it wasn't effective. I hope that's the same next year, because for me that's the way it's gone. I think teams are starting to slowly suss us out. But don't get me wrong, we're still going to win the league. Right? So I want to say teams are totally sussing us out now, but I can gradually see teams like the St Mirren's, United, they're all just compact, and I feel we can play through them. The game against St Mirren at St Mirren Park, don't know what we're doing there. As soon as they put Ivanovic on, we get more joy. Get pushes in the box, boom, wide cross, boom, wide cross. It was all tappy trying to play through these compact lines. Unless, like I said in a previous podcast, I don't know if you agree with me, but unless you're Busquets, Iniesta, fucking Kevin De Bruyne, it's very, very hard to play through these fucking compact lines. It doesn't matter who you're playing against, because we can't play it. For me, the way Ange wants to play, it's evident that it's very hard for us to play against teams that park the bus, because it's. See, for me last night, right? I know I'm going to have to talk here. There was times where Jota and Abada were fucking wide as fuck. I mean, right out the touchline with loads of space, and Starfelt and Vickers are just wanting to play the ball to the side. It's like I'm just telling them not to play the ball fucking forward, but yet last week he's telling them not to pass the ball back. But it's confusing as fuck to me why they're not using the wingers. Jota and Abada are well out wide and loads of space, and Vickers and Starfelt are wanting to play the ball out to wide, Ivanovic and fucking Taylor, or I want to play it through the middle. You're allowed to play the ball forward. It doesn't need to be on the run all the fucking time. Use your fucking brain. If somebody's free, just fucking play it. I know he wants you to play that way, but he's not playing. He's not on the park. He's at the side of the park. If you want to play a long pass that you think's right, I've always said that I don't mind players trying things. See if we get a ball away and they try something, fair fucks them. Just try and get the ball back. Do it again. I'd rather a player made mistakes trying things than just try to keep it simple and get the ball away. I'd rather they actually try something creative to actually try and use a spark. And I don't believe sometimes we do that. I think sometimes we try and keep the ball too simple sometimes.
I agree with everything that you said, because, and you're the only one that's here, but I've said it in the chat, and obviously I've said it to you. I've said it for months, and but I've mentioned it earlier. It's the criticism, as I said, I've said it again, I've said it to Ange, you cannot change a system when you need to. That St Mirren game was a prime example, because, as you said, he's trying to play through a compact box that obviously have got 10 or 11 players behind the ball, and we couldn't do it. We couldn't do it against them, we couldn't do it against Livingston. So what do you do? Do you change, or do you keep doing what's not working? It's all well and good, me and you sitting here. We're no managers, but it's just common sense. You need to change, and I get Ange going, I'm not changing. This is the way I play. Fine, like, he's got the balls on him, but you need to.
Sorry to cut you there, Sam. See on that, like, I'm agreeing with what you say. You can still play attacking football, but change the formation. You can still play Jackie Marcus maybe up top himself, with Kyogo playing at a 10 or Maeda playing at a 10 behind him. You can still play two up front, you still play free from attacking football, but it just changes the dynamic of your team. You can play a long ball to Jackie Marcus, he can hold it in, or he did down to your number 9. I think that's maybe the way you might go about it against teams like Livingston or St Mirren. But I admire the guy for sticking to his philosophy. I admire that he's sticking to it, and that's it. He's not moving for it, and I understand that. But as fans, it's frustrating, because I honestly believe that, see, if we did qualify for the group stages of the Champions League, and we did get, say, Barcelona's or fucking AC Milan's or whoever we get, right, top teams, I'd shit myself, because he would go to a new camp and play fucking 4-3-3. Celtic cannot go away to these teams and play 4-3-3. We'll get absolutely pumped like Rodgers. I think Rodgers played 2 wingers. I think Rodgers went to New Camp and played 2 wingers. I'm sure he played Forest and Clare. I might not look back in the team. but I'm sure he played two wingers. You can't play two wingers when you go to these big fucking teams. It's just, see, unless you're Man City and you can combat the quality, fair enough. But Celtic need to do what I think Celtic need to do is when you go to these big teams, i.e., even Bodo, you might need to sit back for a bit and take a bit of fucking shit and then go boom. But for me, it's just attack, attack, attack. And I love football, attacking football, I love it. But you've got to compromise sometimes. If that means you need to go to play five in midfield and play one up front, I don't want to play one up front at home. I don't want to do it. But see if it's going to get a result for one game to take you out the second leg, or i.e. when you go to a bigger team and you might get beat 1-0 in the new camp, which is not going to happen, mate. I'm just trying to talk to a scenario.
Aye.
And you try and see the game that epitomised the way Rodgers played for Celtic, right? We scored the first goal in PSG, right? And he still played the same formation. Again, I'm no Rodgers, right? I'm not a fucking expert. But for me as a fan, as soon as we scored that goal against PSG, you put backs against the wall, you play fucking five at the back if you need to play five at the back, or fucking six at the back, I don't care. See if you then get beat 3-1 or 4-1, or you go, do you know what? We changed formation, but the quality beat us. But when you try and play the same way and then you go and get beat 7 or 8 fucking 1, that's just negligence. Celtic can't go to these big teams and play like that. I don't know what you think, Sam, but I'm agreeing with you that we've got to adapt. I understand he wants to play on these with the wingers and the inverted fullbacks. I totally understand that, and I'm the guy for sticking to his philosophy. But for me as a fan, and listen, I don't know if I talk for any other Celtic fan, but it's frustrating that we knew how Bodo were going to play, and even at half time when we get beat at half time, nothing changed for me. They came out the same. Nothing changed. No formation change, no stops. At half time, I was crying out for Rogic to take a took off, and I was crying out for it was actually Maeda to come off and put Giakoumakis up front and put Hatate on. I thought Hatate should have started the game. And I've seen some fans being Giakoumakis a bit of stick. I'm being honest, I don't see how you can see Giakoumakis stick for last night. He came on a game 20 minutes, 25 minutes. If anybody's ever played football, you come on a game like that and you've just come off the bench and come on and do your best, or to your optimum fucking professional ability. It's hard to get a game like that when you're already doing the dumps. I believe Giakoumakis will come good. Again, I'll eat my hat if he's shite, and I'll say, like, put my hands up. Maybe I'm not really a good judge of a player. I'm always straight to the point. If I say something and then it turns out wrong, I'll say, do you know what? I apologise. It's wrong. Fair fucks to whoever else says he was shite or whatever. But I think I'm agreeing with Sam. He's got to adapt. I.e., if it's Mum or Livingston, or if it's fucking Bodo. I understand we should have enough quality, no matter what formation we play, to beat St Mirren and Livingston. But you know yourself, mate, football's a crazy world and silly results can happen.
Yep, totally, and it can, and it's just, I was obviously, while you were speaking there, I was listening in case I was just ignoring it, but I was thinking about it, and the whole thing about, obviously, as I said, about changing tactics or formations, whatever it is, and I don't want people to misconstrue this because it obviously can't and possibly can be. I'm not saying Ange isn't a top class manager. I'm not, but top class managers change their system if it's not working.
Mm-hmm.
The likes of Pep Guardiola, Klopp, and I know it's a major contrast between like the Scottish League to obviously England. I get that, but my point is, top class managers are no enough to change the system if it's not working. And for me, Ange doesn't do it. And like I said, that's not me. Well, it is me criticising him, but I'm not saying he's not a good manager. I know he is, because obviously his CV speaks for itself. But it needs to change it, because to get results at Celtic, you need to do what's needed. And if it is playing five at the back or throwing an extra into midfield or whatever it is, you need to do it. It goes into the whole point that partially the fact that we are too technically nice, because we are too focused on, I think, playing attractive football, which is fine. Like I said, that's fine, but you need to do what's needed to win. Again, if that's playing shite football, where you sit back and then boom, go on the counter, or you dig in like the likes of St Mirren or Livingston, do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if opposition fans go, the way you play football is absolutely gash. Do it. If it gets results, then so be it.
Aye, no, I agree, mate. I know some fans, and I'll probably say it myself, we might not have the players to adapt. That might be in the summer where we get guys that maybe we sign that can adapt to formations or whatever. I don't know. I'm only going by what I think. And for me, I just don't know if I've got the players to adapt. No, Sam's away, but I'll talk to this back on. I do believe, for me, that I don't know if I've got the players to adapt. I don't know if that's what we need to bring in the summer. If we need to bring in guys that can adapt to obviously get us to European football level. But I just think that Ange's obviously got to. Obviously, I was just saying, Sam. Obviously, Ange's obviously got to. If it's the recruitment level in the summer that we need to get to sign these guys who are going to adapt to the system that maybe Ange wants to play in European football, I don't know how we go about it. But maybe it is the fact that we've not got the players to maybe adapt that he maybe wants to do that we don't really know. But going on last night, it's frustrating because we didn't make any changes. I thought at a time where we had to make changes, and I thought the changes should have been done at half time. Again, I'm not a manager. I don't see from his point of view, but I thought you're doing it at half time. I think maybe making one change even at half time to a bit of freshness, a bit of just something different to the game, I thought would have been ideal.
Aye, definitely, and it was poor all round. We deserved to get beat. There's no be all and end all about that, and it's no, it's hard to take. But as we said earlier, I expected it. Like, because I've seen what a few people, know many, but saying, "Oh, like we did have to, we've got the quality," but they've said, "Oh, we should be beating this mob." But it's like maybe, but it's not as easy as you are making out, because it's people discredit because say what you want, obviously about Mourinho. It's no hard to, or it's no easy, sorry, to go and beat a Mourinho team 6-1, and obviously they've done it.
Aye, earlier.
Aye, exactly.
Not I mean.
So they aren't a mob to be taken lightly.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that some people were just shows that the point you made earlier, that they need to go and research these teams.
That's the thing. See, I don't know if it's just a Celtic fan thing. Again, we expect to win every game. I turn up thinking we're going to win every game, but obviously that's because I'm a Celtic fan. But my head tells me sometimes we can't win this game, or we need to do better this game, or whatever. And last night, as I said, as soon as the draw was made, I was like, fuck. I said to all using the group chat, I've said to everybody I know is a Celtic fan, listen, this is a fucking tough game here. Don't think because you're a team from Norway and nobody really knows about them that it's going to be an easy qualify. It's not going to be. And I knew last night was going to be a tough game. As soon as, I think from the first 5 minutes, I really knew it would be a hard game. I still think we've got the quality to go and win the tie. But I think it's going to take full Ange ball to come into play, and I mean full scale attack for early doors, and get ideally an early goal. Again, you don't want to rush things because I know it might sound stupid, but it's only 2 goals. It's not like you need to score 4 goals or 5 goals. 2 goals to get you extra time. So again, you want to strive to get 3 and 4 and qualify, but minimum I would say we need to take the extra time. But I'm going to be honest, can I see us going there and no conceding? On last night's showing, personally, no. They're very, very good at home. They don't concede many goals, especially in Europe. They've done well. I think they won 3 in the Conference League and they drew 3, so they're unbeaten so far when it comes to that. Again, the conditions will be terrible. The pitch will be terrible. And nobody like last night, as we got called on Monday last night, but Celtic Park's a fucking bowling compared to where they're going next week when they're National Park. So next week we're tough. I do think we can do it. We've got the quality to do it. I do believe last night, in a sense, was an off night. But I just think last night, Sam, I think maybe a reality check for some some fans and maybe some people in Celtic that when we might believe that we should be getting to Champions Leagues or we should be getting to Europa Leagues. I'm like you, mate. I generally think we are a Europa League team. Maybe not even at that now, Sam. We're a Europa League team. I would say that's our level, you know, right?
I wouldn't even go as far as to say that.
I think that's if we qualify for Europa League and we go to group stages, I would say that's our level at the moment. It's going to take us a bit more, I would say, money spent or a bit more recruitment to take us to the higher level, in my opinion.
Aye, and I don't disagree with obviously like what we need or what we might need today, but it's just Celtic is obviously you said earlier on they've just not been a team that can compete in Europe since, and I know times are different now between the whole Martin O'Neill thing or back then. I totally get times are different, but we're just not a team that can compete in Europe. It's just the be all and end all. I don't really care if fans listen to this or whatever and say I'm talking pish or whatever. They can argue all they want. It's just the be all and end all.
Mate, listen, it's opinions. Football's about opinions, mate. They probably listen to this and say I'm talking nonsense as well. So anybody, it's opinions. That's why I love football, because we've all got different opinions. People might say last night was okay, or they thought there was positives with it. That's why we love football, mate. It's all about opinions. I'll never say somebody's wrong. I might say I really don't believe in what you're saying here, but I'll never say somebody's wrong because people see football different and players different, and I understand that. But I really believe like you, mate. I don't believe we're up to scratch yet. But again, I know I've got to take some perspective in the whole thing. He's brought in 16 to 17 players, spent 16 million on a rebuild that we needed. We all know it had to happen. We've got to top league now with a point ahead, considering where we came to last year. And let's be fair, we were 25 points behind, right? So we can't expect to go and beat anybody because last year was a fucking shambles. We're 1 point ahead now, which is brilliant. Now we need to kick on and we need to try ahead. But I'm no focusing on the league form. I'm focusing on the European form. Yes, we're going to Leverkusen, and for me, game management fucked us in the Leverkusen. We should have won. I thought, especially this first half, I thought we were a better team. Betis were 2-0 up. Again, game management, and you end up getting beat. But like I say to you, Sam, good players and good teams don't go to AC Milan and your Betises and go 2 or 3-0 up and then get beat. It seems to happen to us quite a lot. With AC Milan as well last year, 2-0 up. I think we went to Lille. Was it 1 or 2-0 up?
We ended up drawing 2 each.
I don't know if it's a mentality thing. I'm trying to put up. Again, I might be like other fans and other Celtic podcasts as well. They might try to put their mind on how we sort it. But is it a mentality thing where we go over Europe and even against some of these teams and we just can't do it? I don't know what it is. I'm trying to. Last night I sat in my bed. I'm trying to think everything through the game, and I just believe we're not good enough as it stands at the moment. Under Ange, maybe next year, another year under Ange, we might be better, i.e. if we win the league, which I hope we do. Let's be fair, we fucking need to win the league. I know we can still qualify through finishing second, but as it stands for me at the moment, we can say what we want about how we've been this year and how the rebuilds went and how we've came for leaps and bounds. We're not good enough as it stands to compete at the highest level. Even Europa League level, we've been put out. I know we had good performances against Leverkusen. We beat Ferencváros twice, which is, again, let's be fair, we should have beat Ferencváros twice. Betis, I thought at home. Let's be fair, the Betis game, Sam, when the team sheet came out, we didn't expect anything because we seen the team sheet, we were no really looking good. And then we came out 2-0 up, and then you're thinking, alright, 2-0 up, good. And then I just believe we've got a bit to go when it comes to European level to get to where we want to. I hope Ange is the man to do that, Sam. But I'm just looking on last night, on that game last night, we didn't look like we were going to win a game last night.
No, we didn't. As I said, it's the be all and end all. It's just we're not a team that can compete in Europe, and folk will laugh and whatever. But I really don't. As I said, I don't care. It's the be all and end all. That's just it. We are not a team that can compete in Europe. Don't get me wrong. I hope to God it changes, and then I I think it'll take obviously a good few years. But right now, as we speak, obviously, as you and I are sitting here speaking, we are not a team that can compete in Europe. And it's been evident for years. And I've said it for years. It's just, we can't. It's just, like I said, that's just the be-all and end-all.
I understand the orders we go to Champions League and I know we're starting, etc. But and I think even Neil Lennon got there as well. But you've got to focus on it at the moment and now. I try and no focus on the past because the past is past and we've got to look to the future. I still believe next week we might win the game next week. I still think we'll win the game next week. We know it's enough to get us to qualify. It's another matter. It's going to take a fantastic performance next week to win. Do I believe we'll do it? Yes, I've got to believe we'll do it. I'm a Celtic fan. I've got to believe it. But it's got to be much better than last night because I don't believe they'll change the way they play. I think they'll play the exact same way. I was really impressed with a few of the players. I was impressed with, again, I knew about the guy Solback and thought it was superb. He's actually a free transfer by December, I think. So I don't think Celtic will have a chance to get him. I think there'll be other suitors to go and get him. But I think Celtic should be looking at maybe one or two of their players last night because they're not going to be mega money. There might be 2 or 3 million tops. Fucking the best player went for £3 million, Patrick Berg. So there's value there. If you look big enough at some of these leagues, I don't want to be disrespectful, but smaller leagues in the regions of the world, you can get these wee gems that can be £1 million or 500 grand, and I just believe that's maybe a market we need to look because we don't with Dyla and we get Johansson for cheap, and I thought Johansson was superb. So I don't know if that's an area that we can look into. I know I'm just liking the Japanese market or the Australian market, but I think maybe we need to branch out a bit and maybe look at some of these smaller leagues maybe.
Aye, and just obviously on you were saying that, because the Scandinavian market for years has been class, because you look at it, you've got, I know, I'm not saying we could have got him, maybe obviously when he was younger or starting out, anyway I should say, but you've got the likes of obviously Haaland, and obviously look what he's been on today, he came from Mould. You've got the likes of Ericsson, try to think off the top of my head now, that Simon Kjaer for AC Milan, he's a top quality centre half. My point is there is obviously, as you said, there's quality in those markets, and obviously you mentioned Patrick Berg, who no disrespect to Lens, but I don't understand why you went to Lens when he had the likes of us and Ajax, who apparently were looking at him and wanting to get him. So there is, like, people discredit these markets because the nation. They look the likes of Norway and think, oh, there's no good players to come out of Norway or Denmark or whatever. That obviously there is more, but they few names that are rattled off there. Look what they've been on today. Christian Eriksen, who obviously, thankfully, is now going back to playing football, is, in my opinion, a very, very, very good player who, I don't want to say overstayed his sort of time at Tottenham, but in my opinion, was far too good for Tottenham. Far too good for them. Haaland, self-explanatory. So it's just, like I said, these markets have got wee gems that you just don't realise because people don't pay too much attention. So, and I agree. So just the last point I was going to make, that is, it's a few times now we've been absolutely scalped off Scandinavian teams. So what does that tell you?
Mate, I've said it on previous podcasts. I know that JP said it as well, and Robert Morgan. There's talent everywhere, mate. Every league in the world. There's even in the Scottish leagues and League Two. There's guys who should be playing the Championship or even low league Premier League. There's talent everywhere, and especially in Sweden, Denmark, Norway. There's guys in there who, like you say, like Haaland, when he was maybe 16, 15, 16, 17. Who can get scouted up because, let's be fair, they're not going to be worth 10, 20, 40 million pounds when they're that age. But again, it's all down to scouting. It's all down to your finances. I understand that, but I don't know if that's where you maybe need to balance out your scout machine. Like, again, we've not seen the guy play, but we signed the guy, is it Kenny from Sligo Rovers? I don't know much about him. Again, he's maybe the next one of the biggest up and coming talents in Ireland. Surely there's a guy maybe 19, 18 that's playing behind Salzburg youth or Mulder's youth that Celtic signing and they're going to come in and be superb. We've seen guys like Johansson, Shevchenko, who I think Shevchenko was really good for Celtic to be fair. There's loads of talent mate in all these IE small league. Listen, Scotland's not a big league. We've two big teams in Scotland, but we're not a massive league. I do believe that there's, I'm no scout, we're no scouts, mate, but you can definitely get talent in these IE, that we say small leagues. Even the Swedish teams like the lower Bolton Swedish Championship, the Premier Divisions, you can get guys who might not be top class talents to the world, but if you look at your Y scouts or these scouts look at their software and they don't look at these teams, there's definitely guys that you can pick up for decent fees and bring them over here and they can be superb. But I can be all the fans and be all trying to think of different things that can maybe enhance it to get better quality in European football. Because that, like you've said, Sam, I'm taking perspective that I know we've been superb when it comes to the league this year, where we've came from. We've 25 points down the last year, or 1 point ahead. But I'm not talking about the league form. I've got to look at on the European football. I don't want to say Andrew's failed because it's his first year in European football for Celtic, but we've went for the qualifiers in Champions League. Again, the qualifiers, I don't want to blame it on him because he came into a fucking shit show and he had to rebuild it within fucking 4 weeks or 3 weeks to get to that stage. But then we went to Europa League, IE, again we spoke about, I know we could repeat ourselves here, but we done well against Leverkusen, but we conceded 4 at home and 3 away. 4 against Betis, 1 against Betis at home, I'm sure it was. Ferencváros, 2, sorry, it was 3-2 minutes, sorry. Ferencváros was 1, I think, one away, and that was it, wasn't it?
2 away.
Right, so there you go. Right, so how many goals have we conceded away home and at home? It's too much. So you can't continue to want to play attack football and think you're going to win games if you can't keep the back door shut. Aye, in Scotland, Sam, we've been good at that. We've got the best defensive record in Scotland. Take nothing away from the team when it comes to that. But European level, we can't defend, and that's evident. That's not evident on just us as fans watching it. The stats tell you that we can't. You can't go to Leverkusen and concede 3, Betis concede 4, and at home concede 2. I know we won the game, but you can't concede goals and expect to win games at a higher level. It's just no. It doesn't matter how many you try and score. You can't. You need to keep the back door shut if you want to try and win these games against the bigger teams.
Aye, definitely, and because I watched a video the day and people were saying about when Ange came in, and obviously we were told, you've got to get obviously free-flowing attacking football, but you're obviously going to get games where like that team's going to score 4, but you'll need to score 5.
Mm-hmm.
But as you just said, and I get obviously it's his first year in dealing with European football, you can't do that. You just can't, because bigger teams will pick you off. The likes of Leverkusen, Betis, I'll even include Bodo in that. It's just you just can't do it. You can't, as you say, you need to keep the back door shut, because I've said it on a pod before, but it's not every time that I'll take Bodo for example, where they'll score 3 and you'll score 4, because they're too good. Like they're just a very, very good outfit, as we've already said. They're well drilled, they're well organised, everybody knows their role. So you just can't do it. So it just gets back to the point we made earlier that it needs to adapt.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to. There's no be all and end all about, or no other way around about that. Sorry, folk might disagree with me, but it needs to happen, because if it does, or if it doesn't, sorry, then it will just continue. But we'll falter in Europe, and we'll not get anywhere. Because obviously, the games you just round after, the likes of Ferencváros, Leverkusen, etc., it just shows that we cannot defend worth a fucking Europe.
And I understand when you go to Leverkusen and teams like that, they're not really expected to win, but it doesn't mean that you're going to see 4 goals or you're going to see 3 goals or Ferencváros 2 and Betis 2, whatever. You've got to keep the back door shut. It's all like you say, it's all right saying you're going to score 3 or 4, but you can't keep conceding goals in Europe. Celtic are just pronounced for conceding goals in Europe. We do it all the time. I think we were actually one of the worst teams in Europa League for conceding goals. That's not good looking. It doesn't matter how good we're playing attacking football in Europe. You can't keep conceding goals. It's just that, like you says, mate. That's just factual. You can't win games if you're conceding 4 goals away, 3 goals away, 2. It's just no going to happen. But again, if we win the league this year, I really hope that because we know we're going to win the Champions League, you know what you need to do. I hope the recruitment maybe then, I'm not going to say it evolves around that, but at least you've got 2.5 months, 3 months, or whatever, 4 months to prepare for the group stages, and there's no the qualifiers, so you can actually prepare months down the line for the players to play in the group stages, which might give you a better quality player. I don't know. I know qualifying for that will give you a better attraction. If you qualify for the group stages, you're going to get a better attraction of player, i.e. you might sign Jota permanently or you might sign Vickers permanently, but you'll get a better quality player. But it's just, on last night, the last bit for me on last night, Sam, is I think it just shows you that we're still a wee bit away for getting to even further stages in the Europa League. We're still a bit away to competing with some teams who don't even spend any more money near us or budget wise. I don't know if it's a day with mentality, is it formations, is it maybe drilled? I'm trying to figure it myself because I don't think Mays fans will know what it is. But again, it's all about opinions, mate. We can just say that we think, other fans think different. I just think European things, mate, we just need to change the way we approach games. I don't know if that's formation. I don't know how we do it because I'm not a manager, but we've got to change it somehow because we're going to keep getting beat every single season. Qualifiers are no disrespect, but teams who don't spend as much money as us, they don't have the same budget as us. Like even Midtjylland, again, I understand we're going through a rebuild, the beat on the centre half, but Midtjylland's budget is nowhere near us, nowhere near Celtic budget. I know that for a fact. So, but I don't want to be too critical. I know we've been critical all the way through this, but you've got to take a perspective. I understand that because of what we've done in the league. But you've got, for me, it's European, and for Celtic to win the Conference League, which is a fucking new competition, it's just been made up for teams like us to play in to give better chance of European success, and we can't do that. So, how anybody can say that, last night it's a one-half. It's not a one-half because it happens every fucking season. Most every season it happens. We can put it off team that shouldn't be anywhere near Celtic, i.e. budget-wise, but they're well drilled, they're organised, and we just seem to falter at certain stages. And under Rodgers, I know we qualified for 2 years in a row, roughly. I understand that, but it's just on this day and age, we've got to do a lot better when it comes to European football. I don't care about league form because that's not the Europe. European football is a different kettle of fish, and like you say, mate, good players adapt to certain systems, and managers adapt to the players they've got. And I think it might take to summer for us for that to happen, but I think European level, mate, we're still. I think last night was a big reality check for us, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. And as I said earlier, it'll take us, I reckon, I don't know how many years exactly, obviously, but it'll take us a good couple anyway to get to that level because we're nowhere near it, to be honest. And I was laughing just obviously when you were making the point about the Conference League because that comment to me sums up Celtic. The fact that obviously I know it wasn't made for us specifically, but as you said, it was made for teams like us to give us a chance to still compete in Europe. And I don't know about obviously you and whoever else is listening, but that's laughable. It is. And I know you said the point earlier, like, Celtic Day obviously have a big name in terms of stature and whatever. I don't give a shit. See the fact that we need to rely on a competition that's just obviously been created and implemented this year to give us a chance to still compete in Europe. It's fucking laughable. It is. It's laughable.
It's not good enough.
No, it's not. It's 100% agree. And because don't be wrong, I think this thing that obviously you've mentioned it a couple of times that you're being overcritical, and I know I'm probably going to go in a rant here, and you know the point I'm going to make. If it's warranted, then do it. I hate this thing that fans say, "Oh, you're being too overcritical." You and me, obviously you more so than me because you've got a season ticket and everybody knows how much they cost, but we all put our money into the club, whether it be tickets, taps, whatever it is. You're entitled to your opinion. You pay your money to basically, obviously, fund that club for whatever use, and obviously you pay your hard-earned money to do that. So you're entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to your. So I hate this thing that people feel entitled to say that we're not allowed to be too critical. It just infuriates me because last night was not good enough. And
No, I agree, mate. I agree.
And people might listen and go, but he's when X amount of games unbeaten, irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
Aye, but that's a league. That's the European football.
Exactly. I know you've made the point, but it's irrelevant because it's been the past 3 managers now. And I know Lennon done the whole tap of the Europa League group stage, right? I get that. But it's over a course of managers. It's not like obviously the one manager that just cannot do well in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Brendan Rodgers, who I's not doing too well this year, who's regarded as one of the best coaches in world football. Couldn't he be consistent anyway, let's say. Neil Lennon couldn't be consistent. So it's a pattern. And as you said, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's mentality or whatever. I don't know. But it's no good enough, and we're way off competing at a higher level. But on the flip side, this season especially anyway, but I wasn't too bothered about Europe, but it still stings to lose in the manner that we did, because as you say, it's a reality check. And I think I'm probably going to get a load of backlash for saying this, but I think if you'd say to me, would you rather have lost this game or this game last night and won on Sunday or vice versa, I would have said obviously get beat last night, because to me the league's more important. But at the same time, I want us to be competing in every single competition and give a good account of ourselves. But we're not doing it, or sorry, not that we're not doing it. We're not doing it in Europe, and as obviously we've said now for the past however long, we've not done it for a good few years.
No, I agree with you when it comes to me. Obviously, Sunday's massive. The league's massive, isn't it, when it looks like? Most fans will probably say, aye, if we had to lose a game, it would have been last night, which I understand, but you don't want to lose any game.
No, of course.
I'd love us to go win a competition. I know I'm saying it's a competition that you shouldn't put competition the competition. Sorry, the competition, the bottom competition the competition it's in. I just believe that every game's important. It doesn't matter if it's European football or if it's Sunday. But I did say that even when the Raith Rovers game, I thought he played quite a strong team. Maybe too strong, I thought, considering what we've got coming up, Livingston away, etc. Rangers are making up. We've got a few away games in a short space of time, and I thought they might have maybe changed the way they're going to play. I use players to give guys rotation and how basically freshen up. So I think sometimes if it's when the same guys all the time, they are going to get tired and they're going to need to get a rest. So the reasons want to play, they're going to need to make changes because it's just relentless all the fucking time. But obviously, my last thought, and I'll get you your last thoughts, Sam. My last thoughts on last night was disappointing. I'm surprised. To a certain degree, I'm surprised how we played, but I'm not surprised the result because Bodo are very, very good. I did expect them to come to Celtic Park and score and play well. Just disappointed in the fact that it's kind of stoked a bit around their own from the league, and then I wouldn't say we've lost momentum in the league, but it's going to give a wee bit of that you need to start a game here, we need to pause on a game. I still think we'll win next week. If it's good enough to win the tie, I don't know. I think we'll win the game next week, but whether we'll do enough to actually qualify, I don't know, Sam. But I just think last night was a wee bit of reality check that yes, we're doing well this season, and we're scoring goals, and we're top the league, and we've won a cup. But I think it's a bit maybe a reality check that we all know we're nowhere near the finished article when it comes to Angie's team.
But
I just a wee check last night that everything's no rosy, especially European football, that we need to improve. And for me, we've got to adapt. I think adaptation for me, we need to adapt to certain systems and certain teams. And another thing is we need to be more clinical and create more chances when it comes to European football. Again, I'm only going on last night. We didn't create enough last night to win the game, and we didn't defend well last night to even get a draw at the game. I thought we were very poor last night, especially defensively as well.
Aye, and it's a point I've made for months that I'm not saying you, but people are now coming on to. We are not clinical. We've not been clinical enough in certain games. Mm-hmm. It's all right beating the likes of no disrespect to them because it might be a Diddy team. But no, in all honesty, but it's all right beating the likes of Dundee and St Mirren 6-0, obviously at home. You should be winning comfortably, but it's obviously a completely different animal going for the likes of that to Bodo or Leverkusen or whatever. But we've not been clinical enough, and that's, like I said, a consistent pattern this year. We just don't take our chances well, or some games I found we try to walk the ball into the net. Like as you said earlier, I don't mind the players try. See if they take a shot or take a pass and it doesn't come off. Fair play to you. Because it shows obviously that you're trying, but it's just, as I said, we've just tried. Every game that we've lost or dropped points in some way, whether it's obviously we've lost or drew, it's been our own fault. It's been our own fault. So I know I'm obviously getting back focusing on the league a wee bit too much, but it's been a consistent pattern both in the league and in Europe. And I know folk will go, aye, but he's lost 3-2 and obviously scored 2 goals away at home. Right, fine. But as you said earlier, and I agree, game management fucked us. Game management fucked us in Leverkusen and Betis. So it's just the things that we can obviously take from Europe into the league, but in the league, Europe as a whole, we're just no good enough. And like I said, and like you've said, last night was a major reality check, in my opinion.
As I says, I'm like you, mate. Right? I'm no. When it comes to league terms, by the way, we've won so many trophies in how many years? We've won all these domestic trophies, domestic leagues, quadruple trebles, etc., etc. Listen, it's amazing, and it's gave me the best memories I've ever had as a Celtic fan. And I'm no one to talk about all that because the league for me is not on this game. This is about Bodo last night and Celtic Europe. Forget about what we've done in when it comes to winning quadruples or whatever else. Listen, that's another topic. That's league form, right? That's totally this topic. European football for me, I'm not going to expect Celtic to ever get to another final. I fucking love it, but you've got to try and strive to be better every single year. And hopefully next year coming, if we qualify for the is a year where the board change our thinking when it comes to buying for Europe, because we're never prepared for it. We're never prepared to compete when it comes to who we've got in the squad and some of the signings we have. I just hope that this is an eye opener for next week, because we know next week again, I don't think they'll change the way they play. But again, we'll obviously do a podcast on next week. But I think next week's going to be a tough game. And then we'll obviously Dundee I think Dundee for me, I don't think we need to talk about Dundee much because I think it takes care of itself. We just need to turn up and win. We just need to win. Don't care if it's fucking 7-6 or fucking 1-0. I don't care how we win the game. We just need to get 3 points and keep ahead of Rangers. But again, Sam, I know last night was disappointing. We don't like talking about Celtic being negative, but again, it's got to be said. You've got to comment on what you see. Whether or not people agree with that, it's again, football's opinions. Maybe we can only give what we think, and if people don't agree with it, fair enough. That's why football is good for podcasts and opinions, and that's why people talk about football. So, again, mate, thanks for your time. Enjoy your weekend, mate, and hail.
You as well. Cheers.